Welcome to the Udyog Paathshala show. My name is Virendra Rathod and along with me I have a Dr. Sameer Parekh with me. So now with the location in background you can make out such a scenic location we are for this Udyog Paathshala show. Now those who are coming for the first time and don't know what Udyog Paathshala is all about and what this Udyog Paathshala show is all about. So Udyog Paathshala is a learning platform we have created for various organizations and individuals where you can come and learn the skill sets which are required to get you success in today's complex world. Now more today the soft skills are becoming the hard skills, but the most challenging part is we don't know that which is the right way and the right platform to learn all these skills. And here at Udyog Paathshala we have curated content which is not only in context to the Indian environment but created by people who are not only expert but spend their rich decade of experience in creating these courses. So all these courses what we have hosted on our platform come with lot of rich insight from our experts, and today I have one of them, Dr. Sameer Parekh, an expert on emotional intelligence, and today we will be talking more on his course which he has created on emotional intelligence part. So that's all about the Udyog Paathshala, what we do. And in the video there is a link below. You can access our platform and have a look around what are the courses which are available and take maximum benefit from them. Now before I start, now let me introduce Dr. Sameer Parekh formally. We called him a modern day monk, and I'll explain why we called him a modern day monk. So with 3 decades of rich experience in various organizations, created various organizations, started from scratch, built it to a level where he sold it at a higher valuation, multi-industry experience from insurance to
banking,
telecom. So all this experience come together, and especially as a by education, Dr. Sameer is CA, and while working with all these organizations at different level, the kind of exposure and insight which he bring to his session, it's completely amazing. And while going through the emotional intelligence course in itself, and plus the finance for non-finance course which you have created, now mostly these courses, specifically the finance for non-finance course, also people get bored by the numbers, but the way you have explained, the simplicity which you explained, it truly speak about your experience which you carry throughout these years and make things very simplified for any learner to learn. So and secondly, why we call him a modern day monk? With such a rich experience in corporate, he's so grounded and teaches Bhagavad Gita from past almost 10 years now.
Yes,
10 years, and I would like Dr. Sameer Parekh to share a little bit on that part before we get into the emotional intelligence Udyog Paathshala show today.
so thank you, Viren, for this very nice and flowery introduction that you have given me. The monk part is the important part of my life, because at a very young and impressionable age I got introduced to one of the spiritual greats of this country, Swami Chinmayananda, who is my Gurudev, and because of him we lived a life following the principles of the Bhagavad Gita. So now and reached a stage where I got the courage to be able to talk about it to other people and teach it. Till I was sure that I have lived a life of that principles, it was very difficult for me to even talk about it.
Right.
But it has been a very rewarding experience of teaching Bhagavad Gita, especially to younger children, and see that they have started actually understanding it, applying it in their small day-to-day lives. It has been very interesting.
Right. And I think one of the best management book, and I learned from you by watching your videos and while interacting with you, that there is so much rich content already exists in our literature, but the most the difficult thing is to understand it, right? And the way you simplified all these specifically in your sessions, I think it makes a lot of sense. We don't have to go outside. There's already a lot of content which has been created so many years back. The challenge is making it simplified and how we can apply in day-to-day life.
Yes.
So can you just throw one or two examples in today's modern world and know how we can apply them.
So that's my favorite, and thank you for raising that. See, in chapter 2, verse 47 of the Bhagavad Gita, he talks about a very simple shlok which is very, very popularly known, Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. People interpret that as saying, go and do your duty, don't worry about the results. That's not the meaning. What he says, adhikar, the word means control. So what can you control? Karma. What can you not control? The results.
Right.
Basically, what are we talking about? A wonderful book written by Dr. Ramcharan, Input Management.
Right.
Until we manage inputs, all of it is in one line.
Right, and I think that book is almost 700 pages.
600 to 700 pages.
Yeah.
And basically talking about input, not taking away anything from what Dr. Ramcharan has done, but the fact remains that these truths exist in our culture.
Right. And I think it makes so much sense today because most of the leaders where we interact with and unknowingly, knowingly, they start focusing on the output and you keep on saying, no, don't focus on output, keep on focusing on input. So it makes a lot of sense today to focus on input parameter where most of the time we forget and we start measuring people, organization based on the outcomes which are beyond their control. So I think very well point, you have and such in such a simplified way you have explained it.
Thank you.
So coming to our emotional intelligence program, since this show is dedicated for the subject emotional intelligence. Now I want to ask why in today's world emotional intelligence is so important and why it is important for any individual to being an emotionally intelligent, aware person.
So first let's understand what is emotional intelligence. See, if we don't, we have to understand that emotions are a part and parcel of me as a human being. I have one part of me which is logical. I have another part of me which is emotional. Can you separate the two? Because a lot of managers have told, they tell the reportees, emotions, please keep it at home, don't worry about the emotions,
Exactly.
do apply from logic. But that's trying to say that you are splitting the person into two. It's not possible. Emotions are an integral part of what we are.
Right.
And the most surprising thing, people don't understand this, is that the core of decision making, whether in the corporate world or in the personal world, is emotional.
Correct.
Let's take a very small example. If I ask you, which color of shirt would you wear with a dark trouser, white or light blue? Now your answer,
White.
white. Why do you say white?
Because it goes with that dark.
That's a feeling, right?
combination. Yeah,
that's a feeling.
Yeah.
And I might choose the other color.
Right.
Why? Because I feel that color is better. See, the decision was taken on feeling.
Right.
Oh, does this apply in the corporate world also? Of course it does. Because unless I am invested wholly,
Right.
and invested wholly means what? With my emotions also,
Right.
my passion, my commitment, my involvement, all of it. And that's emotions.
Right.
So emotional intelligence today is possibly the key word for success. Logic or logical thinking is teachable.
Right.
Emotional intelligence, we have to work to get it.
Right. And it reminds me of one incident where you mentioned about there was a CEO and he wanted to select out of two projects he wanted to select, and where you ask him just blindly keep your hand on one of the project, and then the CEO asked that why did you ask me to do that? Because and then you replied, correct me if I'm wrong, you replied that no, that filtration is already done by your team.
Yes.
And emotion will decide to make it success. So in short, logic filter and emotion decide.
Perfect.
Am I correct? in
Absolutely
that?
right. So logic actually filters out, whereas emotion filters in. And both are necessary for you to be able to take a correct decision. If I take a decision only based on logic, then I've just taken a decision based on filtering things out and not
Right.
looking at the emotional aspects of how it works.
Right. That's a nice boat. I think we should walk till there and.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And however, I must thank you for this beautiful location where we have come here and we are doing this.
Yeah, that
show.
was the overall idea to give our users a different experience rather than sitting in a room and doing this interview, because I feel that the more simple we make things, more beautiful it comes out.
Yes.
So
and what is more simple than nature alone, right?
correct. So this takes me to my second question. You have talked in your session about self-awareness and managing self. So can you throw some more light on that? Right? Because it's like a very thin line between having a self-awareness and managing self. So
Okay, so these are two different concepts.
Yeah.
They are not very similar. They sound very similar. See, unless I am aware of something, I cannot manage it.
Right.
So what happens is, am I aware of the fact that there is anger inside me? Sometimes we suppress our emotions, right? Especially the negative ones. But if I'm not aware of those emotions inside me, I don't know how to manage them. So there are two different aspects. One is the first aspect where you learn how to be aware of what is happening inside you. What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What makes you angry? What makes you feel good about a certain things? And look, we are using emotional words,
Right.
feel good,
Right.
right? So what's that feel good factor? For that matter, when we decide on interviewing somebody, right, for a job, and there is this instinctive reaction that happens, right?
Right.
You look at a person and you say, so let's say feeling good, right? And you're saying feeling good is an emotion. Ultimately, feeling good is an emotion. And we are talking about, let's say, interviewing somebody. I have an instinctive liking. Where is the word liking coming from? It's an emotion.
Emotion.
It's an emotion. And you have already created a mental prejudice saying that I want to question him so that I can take him rather than I can reject him. You see, even before logic stepped in,
Correct.
you started taking a decision.
Correct. Correct.
So emotions play a very, very large role. So if I am aware of the fact that I may be making a mistake
Right.
by deciding on the prejudice because I looked like the looks of him, I liked his language, I liked his appearance, I liked the way he presented.
Right.
All of it was liking.
Right.
There was no logic.
Right.
Now the danger is that you only used one part. So
Right.
awareness of my emotions.
Right.
And then the second part, not falling into the trap of those emotions and being able to manage them, especially the negative ones.
Right.
Channeling anger.
Right.
Anger is such a powerful emotion, right?
Right.
But
Right.
can you channel the energy of it
Right.
into something that makes it more useful
Right.
rather than negative, rather than
Right.
destructive?
I think that's a very good point you have raised, and even personally, I have been struggling to find a way how to channelize the anger. Can you just give one example?
So the
how to channelize
easiest, thank
the
you for
anger?
raising that, because the easiest answer to this is, you see, anger or any of these emotions arise with a hormonal hijack that happens inside us, a chemical hijack that happens inside us. This chemical hijack, basically, those chemicals last in your body for some microseconds. Now, if I am not going to give in to those microsecond blast of chemicals, automatically those die down. Now, when the anger rises in my body, all I will suggest is count 10. Before you open your mouth, before you write something, before you do anything, just count and concentrate on the counting. Just look at that counting and say 1, 2, 3. They used to say this when we were children, They used to say,
I think
take a
it's
deep breath.
Yeah, it sounds very simple, but I think in that moment, to have your own self-awareness, to count it in itself, I think now I'm able to relate it why the self-awareness part in itself, the first module. So first it helps you to increase your self-awareness part. So when you are actually in that moment, you are able to do that activity.
Correct. So they fall one in after the other. First I'm aware, and then from awareness I move to management.
Right.
And you very rightly said, if I have been in the practice of letting go of my anger, then learning the new behavior of counting 10 is going to take time, right? It is going to take practice.
So now the next question which leads me to it, what are all the areas an individual can actually apply emotional intelligence?
See, emotions are a part of you. So you are using emotions in everything that you are doing in your life. Let's look at the corporate world for a specific reason. In the corporate world, one of the key things that anybody who is working, what is he doing? He's taking decisions. And I just mentioned as an example, the decision making is a very critically an emotional intelligence skill.
Correct.
Right? There is something else, let's say. You have to manage people. Now, how do you manage people? You have to get to know your people. And you have to be empathetic. Now again, I used an emotional intelligence word,
Correct.
empathy.
Correct.
Right? Understanding the feelings of others, understanding and responding to those feelings.
Right.
So in managing people, in taking decisions, in selecting people who will work with you,
Right.
so that the value system, again the value system is again a word which is more emotional than cognitive.
Right.
So when you look at cognitive words, you get a lot of things that are related to numbers, data. But
Right.
when you're looking at the emotive words, you get to know about the actual inner core of a human being.
Right.
So the value system is basically a function of your emotional intelligence.
Right.
And so in interviewing, in decision making, in managing people, all of these areas.
A whole bunch of areas an individual can apply.
Actually anywhere in your life,
Right.
including your family life.
Right.
Right? If you want to have a very balanced family life,
Right.
and you have both husband and wife equally working towards becoming more and more emotionally intelligent,
Right.
you will have a healthy, productive family life.
Right, right. Now, this was not a question, but since you know, mentioned about empathy, now, you know, most of the time it becomes really a very thin line between, do I need to act in an empathetic way or a sympathetic way? So, can you just share one example to at least know the, also, I'm sure a lot of viewers who are watching this video, they might also in a situation they might have heard, okay, you need to be empathetic, but they end up being sympathetic. So just for
So
me and the viewers who are watching.
So I have actually experienced this in a very funny situation. This was in an insurance company and in an old building in Calcutta. And the office was on the 5th floor. And in an old building in Calcutta, the lift stops working from 1 to 2. Now the insurance agent, who was a middle-aged guy, he walked up the stairs. In the month of May in Calcutta, for those of you who know Calcutta, it's a very hot city. So he walked up all there, completely sweaty, and he came and talked to his manager. So his manager looked up to him and said, I'm sure you are cursing the day that you joined insurance industry. What was this? I'm allowing him a shoulder to cry on, that's all, right? That's sympathy. But when you feel what he's feeling, what would he have done? He should have got up from his chair, given that chair to this person, got up, gone to the water cooler, got a glass of water and given it to him. That would have been empathy.
I think it's such a simple way of explaining. Thanks a lot for...
So my pleasure. But people, you are right, people don't understand and people allow sympathy to take over empathy.
Correct.
And that's dangerous.
Correct. So this leads me to the second last question is, according to you, who is most emotionally intelligent or emotionally intelligence aware individual, and what are the characteristics you need to demonstrate to showcase that behavior?
Okay, so you asked a very difficult question, because if very difficult for me to say who, I can't pinpoint an individual, then it will not be fair. But if I look at any leader today, for that matter, you know what, I would ask you to do this exercise. Name your favorite leader in any field.
Ratan Tata.
Ratan Tata, fine. Give me 3 qualities of Ratan Tata.
Trust.
Okay, trustworthy, what else?
People oriented.
People oriented, what else?
And humble.
Humble. Have you noticed what you did? All 3 words were on the emotional spectrum. So leadership and emotional intelligence are hand in hand.
Right.
My logical thinking can only take me to a certain point. Beyond that, if I need to grow, it is the emotive skills that I can need to develop to be able to grow. Now, so therefore, if I am an emotive skilled leader, I am emotionally intelligent, what would I be? I would be calm, I would be in control of my emotions. Not that it doesn't mean that I will not show anger, but I will show anger intentionally, because I need to show it, not become angry. Do you understand the difference, Viren? It's a very interesting thin line. I show anger, but I am not angry. Right? So I need to use the energy of anger to get things done sometimes.
Right.
So I show anger, right? I am able to control and manage my own emotions.
Right.
I am able to understand other people's emotions and thinking.
Right.
And therefore I can relate to them better. I always use this example of Genghis Khan, who knew his people, and an emotionally intelligent leader 100%, one of the big skills that he will show is his ability to connect with his own people. His people, he will think of his people as his people.
Right.
He will think of his people as the people he loves.
Right.
So those are the traits that you can see in any
And I think
great
that's a
emotionally
very
intelligent leader.
good cue for people even watching this video. Like if you need to move up in an organization with more responsibility, and so that's one of the skill you need to adopt, which is being an emotionally intelligent person, and showcasing all these characteristics what these all great leaders
Yes.
showcase.
Yes.
So I think that's a very good cue for, and I think a lot of time we are focusing on AI, machine learning, technology. So all those are important, but I think these soft skills are now becoming a hard skills in today's world.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing this insight. Now this leads me to the final question is, most of the time, and whenever we get exposed to any behavioral skills, we get super excited and know that learning so many things, and I've seen in many organizations where we do deliver sessions, the excitement level is so high the moment people are in the classroom.
Yeah, we call it the training euphoria.
Yeah. So but all these skills are very important, but how do you sustain it once you have learned these skills, and when actual situation arise, how do you demonstrate them? So that's my question, that how do you sustain all these specifically behavioral skills learning?
So you've asked a very pertinent question that relates to the entire learning and development industry itself also. That a lot of things that happen inside the classroom get lost outside because the learning is not taken outside the classroom and put into an actionable mode. So when you take your learning and you create actionables around the learning,
Right.
but that alone won't help, right? Because I've said, okay, I will count till 10. I promised to myself, and I've declared it to my training room. I have also made self-affirmations. But when I go back and I'm sitting in my cabin and I have this reportee of mine who has not done his performance over 6 weeks or whatever, and he comes to me and I'm blow my top.
Right.
Now, there's nobody over there to tell me that you had made a self-affirmation, you need to be counting 10.
Right.
So how do you do this? And that's a very pertinent question. So what happens is, you need to practice, obviously, but who's to tell you that you are not practicing? So you need external support.
Right.
Now, how do you get external support? What you do is you build up a sort of an ecosystem around you, and this is not about formal coaching.
Right.
I mean, if you can get a formal coach, it is great, but if you cannot, just build up an ecosystem within those group of people who are learning with you.
Right.
Create your accountability partners,
Right.
and use them to mutually reinforce the learning every week till it becomes a part of how you are.
Right.
Now, also, Viren, I think it's a very important thing that I'm going to say is that learning and development organizations like Udyog Paathshala also have an individual responsibility to sponsor this thought that learning is not restricted to doing a course.
Correct.
Learning has to be taken out and put into application, and for that sometimes it is important for people to formally engage with coaches, formally engage with people who are ready to support that transformational journey.
Right.
Because transformation, human behavioral transformation, is not easy.
Right.
So that's the crux of the learning journey being sustainable.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing these inputs, and I think the viewers who are watching this video have got a lot of insight on this subject, and I would encourage all of you to go to the link which is mentioned in the description of this video. There's an amazing course Dr. Samir Parikh has created on emotional intelligence. There are a couple of preview videos which are open for you to watch and experience the depth of the content which is there, and more important, the simplicity of that content which Dr. Samir Parikh has created this course. And have a look around that, and if you wish to continue that learning journey, there are description is mentioned, and you can go ahead and get access to that course. So I hope you like this video and our new way of capturing Udyog Paathshala show on these natural locations. We'll come up with more such shows and make things better around us, make people more aware around these subjects. So thank you so much for watching this video, and do share this video with your loved ones and create this awareness around it, and do let us know in the comment section what do you feel about this particular video, and if you have certain recommendation, do let us know and we'll try to create content around that. Till then, thank you so much, and we are signing off from this beautiful location along with Dr. Sameer Parekh.
Thank you very
so
much.
much.
Thank you very much.